but she's not here. Well, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Oh, she's welcome in. Okay.
Did you want to move it up to?
Maybe just before do that before new business, because I think these people will all clear out by then, and then she can do her thing, and then she can clear out.
Okay, so we need to open session. Everybody rise for the pledge of allegiance. Remember, lead standing for the invocation. Ready? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray. Father, we do thank you for the liberty and justice for all of us here in this country. Pray that you would protect those that are fighting for that liberty and justice across the city. And Lord, that you give those boundaries, good wisdom, decisions, and bring them back safe. Thank you for the opportunity to serve here. Help us to do it in such a way that honors those who gave us this privilege. So honor you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The agenda was posted on Friday, February 10th.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I said February. April. Only Vanessa looked at me weird. April 10th. Excuse me.
Thank you, guys. Any announcements from executive session, Mr. Walker?
There are no reportable action, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Next is the publication autism awareness month. Nick, this is Gloria is going to present.
Well, we have, anyway, you want to call the group, I know we have a short time, so much not and give our proclamator report.
I know we don't have much time, so I'll give a short report. I know last year I told you guys about our mobile unit, Nick and Audrey and George, after we met managers out of our organization. Our report as of today is that we've evaluated 15 individuals throughout Ventura County who are mobile unit, which we've had parked out here at many of your events. And we are now in award of a new grant, which will allow us to do over 120 autism evaluations through our mobile unit throughout the county. We're reaching out to Holtville Elementary to do one of their facilities, and it's something that we're trying to grow and do more of, because as you're aware, the numbers are growing and evaluations are really needed, especially in Carroll County being in their certain community. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us one more time, one more year. Again, I'm Victoria Gandila. I'm a volunteer advocate. I'm a mother with 5 children, one of them autism, volunteer school board member, and volunteer coach. Why volunteer? Why the school? Because that is where our children spend most of their evening hours. And I'm here tonight. I go to every city, even though I'm from Westmoreland, because every city matters, every child with autism in our whole county counts. So the reason for the proclamation is to give our families a voice, to give them a platform where the cities will share where our families can go to for support and where we can share true life stories that are near and dear to your cities. So just one more year, once again, thank you for having us. Thank you for continuously supporting and promoting autism awareness and acceptance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of near and dear to us.
Yeah, exactly. He's the whole reason why we're here, supporting your families.
Hello, my name is Stephen Helfinger, 1399 Pencil Road. I just want to thank you guys again for your continued support for autism awareness in the city and the county. I can't believe how the numbers all add up every year. So it somehow keeps adding up. And I don't know why I'm trying to do right now. I just want to say thank you once again. as I transition more into my work life, I realized, sorry, I'm not trying to break my foot, this compost here. I can't thank you all that I've done and all that you continue to do. Thank you. I know he wants to know. I'm at my last semester at IEC. After this, I plan to go to SDSU here in Mexico, and I'm planning to get my bachelor's in history so I can become a teacher. So,
All right.
Congratulations.
yeah, he's got his own thing. We'll wait for him later. But I just really want to thank you guys again for all that. I know it should be coming more to meetings more often, but this is one that can't miss out. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think maybe those are trying to get that spot.
Yeah.
I'd like to just add that I was at an event Saturday in James, your autism awareness fair in Imperial. It was a fantastic event. I'd love to see how it's growing every year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he did.
It definitely has, yeah. It was a huge event. I don't know how many, I honestly, I think there was about 1,000 people there. I mean, you saw how many people came around your table.
Mhm.
That's the whole point of those events is to, that resources are available, you know, and whether they be therapies, respite, art. I don't know if you had a chance to see that art table that was there. That's through the social recs program. The Cosmetics, which is like a physical fitness type of program, that's there also. So there's a whole bunch of services out there for individuals on the spectrum or with Down syndrome or any other intellectual disability. Those services were out there to provide. As well as intercare was out there too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, it was a wonderful event. Thank you.
It was great. Thank you for attending. I don't know if anybody else had a chance to attend, but it's one of those ones that we love doing. We love the partnership we have with the city and with our resource vendors, you know, that provide these services. It's so powerful to all these individuals, whether they be this is my youngest, whether they be as young as he is, or an older man like Steven, or a bit older. You know, there's individuals that you know require a lot of assistance, and there's some that take goodness or thank God that they don't need as much. You know, Steven is definitely can become a history teacher. Nobody stops him. My son himself is an artist. He draws and draws and draws and draws. So it's great to see all this artwork.
And I think you have a golf tournament coming up to support your organization.
Yeah, this Saturday we have a golf tournament coming up. We have a golf tournament coming up. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. We actually tie in the 5K that we have on Saturday. We tie them together to both be really big fundraisers, and with the two combined, we were able to raise about over $20,000. So we tie those two together, and it's well needed. I mean, if you guys have any RVs whatsoever, or any big truck whatsoever, you know, those things take a lot of money to move around. Trucks are alcoholics, just a different kind. And we've been spending on the trailer Audrey on average about $2,000 a month, just different things here and there. They just all add up in costs, different things that we got going on. Either things that we didn't think of when it was built to do modifications on that, or other things that come up. Every time we use it, there's something new, something different, and it's a lot different than it was when we first started. So it's was good to see him, and I said, we hope to do an evaluation here in Holtville soon, you know, and our goal is to be able to do an evaluation in that city. So,
Well, that's great. Keep up the great work, man.
thank you.
I think our mayor's got a proclamation for
Yeah, I'd like to take a moment here to read it.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
You can have the floor, sir.
So this is the City of Holtville Mayor's proclamation declaring April 2026 as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd, 2026 as World Autism Awareness Day in Holtville. Whereas autism is a result of a neurologic disorder that affects the normal functioning of the human brain and can affect anyone regardless of race, identity, gender, or socioeconomic background. Whereas symptoms and characteristics of autism may present themselves in a variety of combinations and can result in significant lifelong impairment of individuals' ability to learn, develop healthy interactive behaviors, and understand verbal as well as nonverbal communications. And whereas the autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a reality that affects millions of families every day, and more children are being diagnosed with something rates as high as 1 in 44 children, actually with 4 times greater than among boys than girls, according to the Centers of Disease Control. And as whereas our nation has made progress in supporting those with ASD, we are only beginning to understand the factors behind the challenges they face. And as the efforts to address autism continue, doctors, therapists, and educators can help individuals with autism overcome or address these challenges and provide early, accurate diagnosis, appropriate education, intervention, and therapy that are vital to future growth and development. And as whereas in April, we recognize those with autism, seeing and breaking down barriers and recommend to helping those on autism spectrum reach their full potential at all times. And as whereas the City of Holtville, California proudly supports the annual observance of Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Awareness Day in the hope that it will lead to a better understanding of autism spectrum disorder. So celebrating the work of advocates, professionals, family members, and all who work to build a brighter tomorrow alongside those with autism. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Mike Pacheco, Mayor of the City of Holtville, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim April 26th as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd, 2026 as World Autism Awareness Day in the City of Holtville to raise public awareness, acceptance, and inclusion of those with autism and the myriad of issues surrounding the disorder, as well as to increase knowledge of the programs that have been and are being developed to support individuals with autism and their families. Witness hereof, I undertake my hand to this 13th day of April 2026.
Did you sign it? There it goes.
While he signs that, I just wanted to tell you, Mr. Hunter, thank you for coming and thank you for advocating. I'm a mother of a child on the spectrum, and it's super important that we have people like you in our community that they can look up to. So thank you. Oh,
Is it? Oh, I didn't see.
What do you want to see? Do you want council with us?
Yeah.
Sorry for making everyone get up.
You had any fun?
I'm sorry.
They drive them, they'll stay out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta get. Oh, yeah, yeah, I always wanted, oh, yeah.
I think I met one.
James, what was your last name?
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Thank you.
Z-A-L, easy.
Okay, our next, topic is, the public comment period. So the public may address the city council on any item that does not appear on the agenda for this meeting within the preview of the city council.
Debbie Belstead, 721 Big Avenue, Holtville. I'd like to start by saying I love living in Holtville, and I'm proud of all the improvements that are happening around Holtville. And I would like to just open up some dialogue about something that I see that maybe could help us a little bit. I know we have water issues time and again, broken sprinklers, or the water's not being, it's not watering things as it should. So anyway, I've been talking to different people about how we could fix that, besides me just taking my plastic water jug and filling it at home and going and watering things, which I have done on occasion. Anyway, I talked to Roger Gonzalez at the head of maintenance at the high school, and he said they are currently researching getting bids for a mobile water tank to continue watering the trees at the schools like they have been doing. And if you drive around and notice, those trees are doing very well because they go out and they hand water each individual tree. So that regardless of what's happening with the rest of the sprinkler system at the schools, those trees are getting the water that they need. And so my concern is the waters, the trees leaving Holtville on the curve going out there, and the trees coming in there.
On sprinklers,
Yeah, it's a sprinkler issue, because you see that, it's not
soil issue.
a soil issue. So it doesn't matter how much water they get, they won't grow, or.
Had problems, yeah.
That soil is pretty soft.
Yep.
That's all railroad bed, so.
Yep,
And so what would be the solution for that? And it's not gonna be water to fix them. They're gonna just die out and just, that's it, or what are we gonna do? And there's nothing, I mean, is there anything that we can do for them, or there is not?
yes. We could dig deep holes and replace the soil, and
No, we're not gonna do that.
there's ways to do it, but
Well, I know that we have issues with having enough help, and I know that every time we put in more trees someplace from another grant, and we don't have,
we always put sprinklers on them. Always.
okay, so then they all have soil issues or other issues, or,
There's been various issues, but we do put sprinklers on them, all of them.
okay? So I guess my point is mute. So I guess we don't do anything then, huh?
I think they're looking into it to see what, to make it better, to make sure that those trees block and live and grow.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mrs. Felsen, I just want to say thank you for always staying on top of it. Thank you.
Ricky, did you have a report?
Thank you. I'm Ricky Sansky, Pacheco, 1951 East Center Road, Holtville. And I am here representing the Housing Authority. And I have just a few quick comments and updates since our last meeting. So there's no delinquent rents in the facility, so that's a nice thing. We'd like to see that. And a calendar change will come about due to Joan's scheduling. We've had to reschedule her plant dedication. So that's going to be on May 13th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And you all are invited to attend. They have a lot of it set up already. They've done some concrete work. They've put in a pergola and the bench is set in the concrete. So if you drive through there, you can see those equipment set up already been done. And with some other exciting news from Holtville, the Housing Authority was awarded a grant to purchase the Town and Country apartments on Drake Avenue. So those will fall under the Imperial County Housing Authority.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yes, that's very nice. The grant was a standalone rental assistance grant, which will then provide rental assistance to the tenants. So that's just getting started. They're talking about purchasing process, but the money is there to purchase.
I was saving the date, for the dedication. So how long will that process, do you know how long it will take to turn around? Give or take, for the housing authority to.
No, it's just starting, so we just need to give the grant, we have the money, and so they're going through working on paperwork and contracts and everything. So that's very exciting. We'll establish a facility with an organization. And I think that's all that I have to say. We didn't meet last Thursday because we didn't meet quorum. We did it last Wednesday. So stay tuned for Friday night the next meeting.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Stacy Bridge, 540 Cedar Avenue. First off, I want to invite you all to our IB Swiss Club's Swing Fest on Saturday. It starts at 11 o'clock with wrestling and lunch and dinner. So please come out and celebrate our Swiss tradition this weekend. And then, on another note, I have a few issues with, I wish Chief Silver was here because we have some abatement issues, questions that I would like to address. And one is, when you have a vehicle sitting in your driveway up, repairing it, waiting for parts, why are we getting an abatement notice when it's only been 2 days? When across the street and down the street, there are wrecked vehicles parked in front of their lawns, on their lawns, in the driveways, and they are not being sent notice. And then another one was, I know that the city, you have a foot between the sidewalk and your fence that you put in. There is one home in particular on my block that the fence is built right up to the house or to the sidewalk. And we were told that the city has an agreement with this homeowner that they can do that, and then they can have all of their cars, wrecked cars and all their other stuff in their yard, whereas the neighbor across the street is getting it done. So really just a few of my questions, concerns. And then, of course, the street sweeper. I wish that he was still here because he has not, poor Fernando or Francisco at CRNR, he got an earful the other day because they do not come down my street. I have cameras up and I have not seen a street sweeper come down through it in months. And when they do, when I see them go down other streets, they're going past, they're doing at least 25, 30, they're not getting anything. So, those are just my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. No other comments, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are to be approved without comment. So any council member or member of the public wish to discuss any item, they may request that the item be removed from the consent agenda and from the new business. We have 3 items on the consent: the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of Monday, March 9th, 2026. Current demands 49175 through 49222. Approval of the minutes for the special meeting of Monday, March 30, 2026. Council?
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Motion by Mr. McCoy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Perez. call.
Mike Goodsell,
Yes.
John Munger,
Yes.
Murray Anderson,
Yes.
Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Pacheco.
Yes. Okay, this is the next item, is reports of officers, commissions, committees, and engagements. We'll start with, city clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This week on Thursday, we have our farmer's market coming up. And then tomorrow, I sent, oh, well, it got sent out to you guys from the chamber, the ribbon cutting ceremony at Sunset Rose. So that's at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then I recently had a little check-in meeting with Text.gov. We're about halfway through our texts until in September when it renews. I know the last time it was kind of brought up maybe to be more reserved with how we use the texts, and not necessarily that we're sending out less, but we have condensed the messages so that it's only one segment, because that was something we talked about. So we're in a good place with how many messages we have right now. And that's all.
So we have plenty left that should get us through September.
Yeah, we have plenty to get us through to September, and if there's some left over, they roll over.
City manager, who else?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just FYI, I've had multiple kind of online meetings with the finance manager, finance supervisor, looking at options for software. We're kind of back in that mode of looking at maybe perhaps replacing our accounting software. So we've been looking at different packages to see if that's feasible. I'm sure she's going to have more to talk about that in the future. Of course, several of us were here for the big Congressman Ruiz's check presentation. It was in the paper. It was good to get him out here and kind of get the photo op and talk to him personally about that stuff. So we're moving in the right direction as far as that's concerned. On that note, we also working with the whole group to see if we can secure some additional money through community development block grant through housing and community development. We did submit an application last week. Probably won't be hearing something until the fall, so don't be sitting on the edge of your chair waiting, but we could conceivably be getting some more money through that avenue. And the last thing, had a couple of discussions and some meetings regarding the Independence Day celebration that we'll be having here in Oak Park. And we're going to probably be hearing from the chamber manager over there regarding that here in a few minutes. So that's all I have for now.
Thank you. City Attorney, Mr. Walker.
Good night, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Vanessa.
I'm sorry I missed the check presentation last week. Last week I was out of town visiting family in the DC area. I wanted to thank Mr. Goodell, who gave, I've heard, an incredible story time to a bunch of two-parers and kindergartners from high school. So thank you for that. Since our last meeting, I did attend farmers market that we had, and I'm looking forward to the grand opening tomorrow and the farmers market this week. That's all I have.
Of Washington DC.
It's beautiful. It was hot. It was really hot. It was weird. It was super cold one day, and then all of it was like so humid. It was miserable. But overall, good.
Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I mentioned earlier, I was at the Autism Awareness Day on Saturday in Imperial. I had the opportunity to talk to our state assemblyman, Jeff Gonzalez. I put the July 4th date in his ear if he could come speak at our event. He immediately grabbed his phone calendar, which I like to see, and said he was going to be in Imperial County that day and would love to come to our event. So that was exciting to hear that he would want to be here for that. So I saw many other electeds there, including Assembly candidate Ida Obeso on the dunk tank. So, people lining up to get her dunked in the tank. And a lot of other electeds were out there, of course, as it's election season. So. Attended the Holtville Chamber meeting last Wednesday. Lots of discussion about the July 4th event, which we're going to hear later on in the agenda. So we can discuss that more then. Tuesday, I was at the Ruiz check presentation. Got lots of great media coverage. Thought that went really well. We were here in the park, and then we took them over to the site and got some pictures and media coverage at both places. And then late in March, I don't know that we've had a meeting since then. I was at the League of Cities statewide committee meeting in Costa Mesa. And I was very impressed with the discussions in the policy committee meetings. A lot of good back and forth, and it was good to see that, you get a bunch of electeds in a room and they can still hold a civil discussion on both sides of an issue, without getting butthurt and getting upset that their point of view wasn't what everyone saw. So a lot of good discussion. I enjoyed it. It was my first time going to it, and I just kind of stayed quiet and listened and took notes about what goes on there. But looking forward to going to others. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Munger? Oh. Mr. Luco?
Well, I've been absent from some of the meetings, on the ninth. It was in Long Beach for the Cal Regional Leadership Forum, where ICTC received an award for the expansion of the youth coordination. So I'm very hard to turn to the board that award. And then the next week, I think March is great, and then the next week I was in Sacramento with SCAG and visited somebody senators. Promote a couple of pieces of legislation we're looking to support. 187 updating Senate Bill 275 and 2002 FEMA funding is needed. We moved to the committee after we were up there, so we got to about do that. And then the 30th, we got to meeting again. I was in Hill County Transportation to a special meeting for a strategic planning meeting over there. I hope the people do this well for me. I want to check this out. See more than it's not really a convention. Oh, I do want to say, you remember I approached the council about being on the SCAG's host committee to try to get funds for the general assembly. We broke the record that we did. And I didn't think we were going to do it. So we broke it by $1,500. And so I looked at the whole list of all the donations, and I see the last thing on the list. It didn't come in calendar-wise, it's the last, but it showed up last on the list. Laura and I, Cooper's Rest, $2,000, put us over the top.
Nice.
But I got $436,000. Really, most of it is done by staff. But everything handed over to the people elected on the committee, they are around 86%. Okay. So, we just have to push it. And that's all.
Thank you. Police Chief, Mr. Martinez.
Not much. Anybody have any questions on the stats type of way?
I see a lot of theft, car theft. What's happening?
So, yes, it's not just us, it's every city here in the valley. It's about 4 different crews that are, one of the issues we're having here in the city is people leaving the park on the lot. Now it went away from the Jeep right now, and now it's the Hondas. So they're using some scanner, like the bottom, they have like a universal remote, and they take it out. So please lock your vehicles. We just had one 2 days ago, left the car locked, left the keys in the vehicle.
That's not what the scanning device, like they can scan and get from the
can buy that on Amazon for like $500. It has a scanner with remotes.
So people realize to put their keys at night in some kind of box to keep them from spending.
Oh, you mean from the house?
Yeah.
I've seen some videos, I don't know if that's real or not, it hasn't happened here. They're going into, you start with the scanner.
Oh,
And that's.
the scanner, that's all we need.
Correct.
We can carry one a lot.
But if you lock your car, you're a step ahead here.
Yeah, that's all. But don't leave your keys.
Your reports said they're all going south.
For most of them, a majority of them are going south. We had a couple over here, but that's like a local person. But there's like 4 different routes right now that are being investigated, so hopefully it should be helping soon.
Thank you. It seems like it's young kids that are doing the break-ins. Is that
Not necessarily.
no?
The one we just arrested last week with the vehicle was a 50-year-old
Oh, was he a local? Was he from?
collectible.
Okay.
We have a couple of teenagers here who have taken it, but we know who they are. They don't take it south, we just drive around in town and leave it.
And they're students.
Thank you. Finance supervisor, Karen?
Thank you. I got to be there for the check presentation, which was interesting and fun. Also love hearing how many city consulting. And I'll probably maybe meander over to the ribbon cutting to check it out maybe. So yeah, it's really good.
Thank you. City finance.
So, as Nick mentioned, we work diligently to submit the CDBG funding so that we can hopefully be awarded the additional $3.3 to help us cover the funding of the first phase funding of the public safety facility.
We already like you a lot better than our county. Just talking numbers all.
If we get that, we'll like you even more.
Well.
Thank you, Cynthia. So we have unfinished businesses now, but I'm going to ask Jennifer if she could, that way she doesn't have to wait the whole rest of the meeting. Jennifer, so if you want to come up and tell us about, I guess you, July 4th.
So we're switching numbers 2 and 4 on your agenda.
Something like that.
Thank you.
Jennifer Clara, Chief Executive Officer of the Holtville Chamber of Commerce. Hello, Mayor Pacheco, City Council. First of all, congratulations on securing $2 million from Congressman Carly Hughes. Really, that's amazing. It shows all the hard work that the city's been doing to get this public safety building up and running. So, as you know, the Chamber of Commerce is very excited to be collaborating with the city on our July 4th event. This is a meaningful opportunity for our community and true value of partnership with the city. From early on in the planning process, it was our hope to incorporate a fireworks show, a professional fireworks show that could be enjoyed by our community as part of the celebration. However, due to the semi-centennial of our nation, pyrotechnic shows have been extremely high demand, making the availability on July 4th just super scarce, very limited. Fortunately, just recently, I was able to secure a professional fireworks show on a July 3rd date, so the day before the original July 4th date that we've been planning on. With that in mind, I'm here today to respectfully ask for the council's consideration to move our July 4th event to July 3rd.
Mr. Wells, you want to, any
I think,
Some of the pros and cons, I guess, moving it up today.
yeah, I think there are some pros and cons that we've kind of discussed, and my mic's flopping around here. I think, going into this, I felt like the July 4th thing was the gospel. But kind of finding out more about even the time capsule issue, which I'm going to say out loud, I kind of want to make this more of a community event for the Independence Day deal. And oh, by the way, we're opening the time capsule as well. Because I think we do need, a big community event. And certainly the time capsule thing has been anticipated by folks and whatever. But when I first started thinking about it years ago, because I've been reading that plaque out there since I was a little kid, I thought, yeah, well, July 4th, it's got to be, it's on the plaque. But it's kind of delved into things a little bit more deeply. That capsule wasn't placed in there on July 4th of 1976, which we originally thought, and come to find out it was October 10th of 1976. So that date becomes a little less sacrosanct and important just by virtue of the mechanization of how it started. Then another piece of the puzzle that we need to start kind of talking about, and we're figuring out how to nuance this, and maybe we have an audience online or whatever. But from the time when I was a little guy, a semi-little guy, all my buddies, I came to Holtville in 1977, so I missed all of the fun of the time capsule. But all of my buddies would tell me they had a drawing in there. I've heard folks say that their grandma wrote a letter to their nieces and nephews, or those kind of things. And certainly, finding those things in there would be a real treasure. In reading the Tribune articles from that period and the build up to the capsule, I don't think I'm positive those physical articles are not in the time capsule. They were all transferred to microfilm. And so I think, just to have a more grandiose event, I think the fireworks is a big thing. I think it would be really nice to have a big event. I think, even my wife was complaining about what we do every year on 4th of July and whatever, and that I wasn't going to be able to do that. I think people have family commitments. I think people like to go to the SeaWorld's fireworks spectacular and see that. And people go to Calapat for their big fireworks show. They, go out to the country in their backyard and do fireworks with their family. So I think there's some positives to moving it to another day and allowing people the traditional things. Of course, the negatives are, will we get the same attendance from out of town? Will we kind of mitigate the big suspense and all that of pulling out the time capsule and all those? So I think there's a kind of a weight on both sides. I think I'm a little more inclined after knowing what I know. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd say no way, we need to do it on July 4th. If you ask me today, I think I'm a little more inclined to say the 3rd might be in order, especially in light of the fact that we can get fireworks then and not the next night. So.
And I think for the most part, we'll be amenable to the 3rd and try to work on that day. Looking around the valley, we can do about everything.
Yeah, and I think this gives families an opportunity regionally to enjoy a little bit of everything. It also gives Holtville its own moment this has been 50 years, and like our city manager here said, this day wasn't the end all, be all. It was more of the intention behind it to mark the bicentennial. And I think we can celebrate the centennial, do the event more justice by moving it to July 3rd, giving our community that fireworks show that hasn't happened in Holtville, really putting on a celebration for our residents, and doing it right.
So we can maybe talk about
Have you secured the vendor for the 3rd yet?
Yes, sir.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pyrotechnic show that we can do. doing a show out in San Diego on July 4th. So, just bugging them, but I had reached out to them early on in the planning of this. Like I said, due to the semi-consistent regulation, July 4th was just not a possibility. I mean, I called some different.
She's not secure.
You haven't contracted them
Yeah.
yet, right? I
We
mean,
have
That's
not
what secure sounds like.
Nothing. They gave us Monday, until today morning to get an answer to them because there is a waiting list. I was able to get them to push that to Tuesday morning because I did want to present this to my chamber board. I did want to present this to city council. And see where this is a collaboration, and in the spirit of collaboration, and in the spirit of what we did together 50 years ago, I think this is a great opportunity for us to celebrate in a meaningful way.
Yeah, what does your chamber board have to say about it?
You know, for the most part, they were on board. As you know, there's 12 chamber board directors, so whoever I could get text back from my various texts, it was mostly positive. So we moved forward with coming to city council and presenting it to you all.
And they're good with paying for the fireworks.
Yes, sir. Yes. And luckily, when I started asking about this, our price point was 15,000 to 20,000 for, a nice fireworks show on July 4th, if anybody would be able to. I mean, they were just giving me prices, but then it was, but we can't do it on 4th of July. I was able to secure something, and the price would be 6,000 to 10,000. The chamber has had sponsorship letters out. We've gotten quite a bit of support, and this is something that the chamber would want to support for the community.
How much advertising has already been done for the 4th?
So far we've only put out a save the date, which I feel adds to our list of positives over here because there's still not, we haven't gone to media. And I was kind of holding out in hopes that I am an optimist, and I was hoping that the situation that we're in now would be the situation that would come about this.
You did send out some letters, sponsorship
So the
letters.
sponsorship letters, yes.
So you'll have to,
Yes, sir, but luckily the chamber had just incorporated a newsletter that I sent out monthly to our members who also received the sponsorship letters. Our first one was in April, so that line of communication and letting them know the work that we're doing in the chamber is much faster to get a hold of them. The response has been good. The analytics have been so positive with those. I'll go ahead and that's how I sent our grand opening and ribbon cutting of the Sunset Senior Apartments out to council. So I'm hoping, with the permission, I would ask you to, accept those newsletters from the chamber to also be better connected, with the work that we're doing in the chamber.
So this shows up on our agenda as discussion only, so.
Right.
Like a voice.
I think if there's a general consensus to move to the 3rd, I think that's fine. I don't, this isn't an official action anyway, really. But if there's a general consensus and everybody says, okay, then you can move forward. I think.
you can give it the city manager direction.
Yeah.
Did you have an opportunity to be able to look at a drone show instead of have the fireworks itself?
I did contact a couple of drone shows, and those are just at a very much higher price point. I think the planning for that would have to be, the cost of it and the planning of it would have to be a little bit more excessive than it is to be a fireworks show. I myself like a big bang fireworks show, old fashioned type of deal. I'm in Calapat so far as the only one that does want to have that. The college doesn't, I'm here at the college, so luckily that's what we were able to secure, and that is an option for this year.
But you talked about being able to do the advertising and soliciting for funds.
Yes, for this one, and that was specifically for our opening, but now I feel like those same funds could be put off a little bit to doing this show, and the chamber also. Could do the rest, which my board was on board with.
What was the price of this?
Like I said, looking at it the first time, it was 15 to 20. The pyrotechnic show that I'm dealing with now is 6 to 10. That's
And for the drone show?
for the drone show. I think it was 15 to 25. That price range, and the time would also be a lot less than a fireworks show. A little faster, but that would also be working within prices, budgets, looking at all that. But unfortunately, we didn't get that far just because it was the July 4th has not going to happen, so I didn't dive deeper into the details of what a drone show would look like. I know that this is something that the chamber has been, my predecessor Rosie Grandma had been looking into doing annually, maybe as a whole tradition that could carry on throughout the years. So maybe in a future year, a drone show in Holtville would be something that could be further researched. But as of today, this Pirates Country Fireworks Show is what we're doing.
Well, maybe not this year, but we ran into some vendors who do this kind of.
Yeah, but even that day when I talked to that guy, I said July 4th, and he's like, yeah, not gonna happen.
It's always busy.
Yeah, he's already booked. He's already booked.
Hey Jennifer, how long of a show do you get for $6,000 to $10,000?
They said around 10 to 15 minutes, and of course I wanted to bring this to council first, and then, once I give them the answer, we can start chipping away at those finer details, what we will be getting, make sure we can show them examples.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
Yeah, but we way over
the
here.
fireworks show would be, I think the location we were talking about was 202 West 4th Street. We would put, use suggestions about.
You wouldn't want to use a parking lot with a lot of high school.
That already happened in June.
And I feel like that location is, to the park, the visibility there would be nice, it would be a beautiful show, something that the kids can enjoy. Of course, we have our fireworks stand here, that coupled with this event, it just seems like a great opportunity for both of our community, for the chamber and for this collaboration that we have with the city.
Vanessa, you have any comments?
I don't, I think the majority of us seem to go forward with the third, we're comfortable with that.
Especially because it's gonna give opportunity for residents outside of Holtville to come. I'm not talking like the out of towners, but just individuals from El Centro or different, areas in the local region to come in and do our art show and not only help some of our local businesses.
Yeah, the only thing I worry, and I think I expressed this to Mr. Wells, was those people that are coming from far away. I know you've gotten some calls, right?
Yes.
So we can get the message out. If we decide to go to change it to the third, how do we get that message to those folks so they can start planning on the third and not the fourth?
So I think it would be the same as the kind of what we've been doing now, putting out that save the day, changing it, unfortunately, we have people who are, fortunately, we have people who are very much looking to this event. I, on the children's stand here, and taking names, numbers of people who have called, that we know that they're coming out of town. I have a few, and I would personally reach out to those that I do have, as well as coupling that with getting the media involved, getting the press involved, putting out videos, letting us using our newsletter as a resource to get that information out as far and wide as I possibly can. Those resources out, and since this is collaboration with the city, I think our joint forces will really get that message clear across.
Was the band you had booked for the 4th available on the 3rd?
I'm
Let's hope
hoping so.
not.
I'm hoping so.
So we're settled on this, we're gonna get directions from the city manager.
Yeah, Mr. Walker, we don't need to vote on it, just we're okay. That's it. Okay, so Mr. Wells.
Okay.
McCall.
Okay.
Thank you, Vincent, for your time. I hope to see you all out there at Sunset Grove Senior Apartment Strategy and Ribbon Cutting and your local investments for housing for seniors. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
9 a.m., right?
Coffee donuts.
All right, so we'll move into new business. We have 3 items under new business. First one is discussion related action to adopt resolution 26-09, approving the extension of sewer and water utility services outside of city limits to the property located at 2319 Olive Avenue. City planner, Cynthia.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Mr. Jorge Cárdenas and his boys reached out to the city and submitted an application to extend services, water and sewer services to the property. The property is just outside city limits. There is infrastructure on that street to serve the property. The property owners do not have any current building permits in the county area or plans to build, but would like to begin the process to get the property connected. It is zoned R1, single family or low density residential. Should, the property be, go through a building permit for an outside use or use outside the R1 allowed uses, the county would reach out to the city, since it is within the city's sphere of influence. And the city requires through its municipal code that the property owner go through the process of approval. City council approval for sewer approval, as does LAFCO. Required resolution that the city has improved water and sewer connection or services being connected at the property.
Thank you, Tiffany. Any questions for Cynthia?
Well, it's not adjacent to city property and continue, right?
It's not contiguous now.
So that trunk line would have to run out there, wherever one would have to run.
No, so it's already existing infrastructure, so they need to a lateral
So
connection.
it's already fed that way north?
It's already fed that way north. Yeah.
So we put that in there, whatever we run down there.
No, when we played around with it when we did the outfall main last. So yeah, the undergrounding we only did water.
Any other questions for Cynthia? Okay. Council, what's your case?
Well, with no fiscal impact to our city, I'll move to adopt resolution 2609.
We have a motion by Mr. Anderson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Premier, second. Roll call vote?
Mike Pitzel,
Yes.
John Munger,
Yes.
Mary Anderson,
Yes.
Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Pacheco.
Yes. Thank you, Cynthia. Second item there on new business discussion related action to adopt resolution 26-10, accepting a settlement offer for a community development block grant for a mobile home at 1313 East 7th Street, space 67. Finance Supervisor Kevin.
Sure, I'll go ahead and get it started and maybe Nick can help fill in the gaps with like other details if needed, but it's just an item to request a $20,000 payoff for an old CDBG loan from 1989. Associated with the address 1313 East 7th Street, space number 67, and to also authorize the forgiveness of the remaining loan. This approach allows the city to still get a portion of the funds while kind of getting something off our book and resolving a long-standing loan. Just for reference, there hasn't been any payments on these funds. It was a loan that had us, maybe you can help me fill in the details of the.
Yeah.
So like
These-
$67,000.
Yeah.
These things. The paperwork on these is really kind of poor, but and we run across this. It's about the 5th or 6th time. Basically, all these people were led to believe, the paperwork does not state that, but they were led to believe that they would never have to pay the loans back. One of the problems is those trailers have all devalued over the years, so they're not worth the amount that we paid to buy them. The good news is, well, I guess the bad news is 3 people in the past have walked in and given us their keys and said, yeah, we're out, just take your trailer or whatever. And that caused myriad problems. This person, luckily, I suspect what's going to happen is it's an older couple and their kids want to take it over or something, because that can't happen without transferring the title. So that's why they're willing to do this. But we've forgiven some of these loans for $5,000. We've forgiven some of them for nothing because they walked away. So this is a good deal for us. Bear in mind that the money came from CDBG. So they gave us a pot of money to say, here, loan this out to people. I have talked to CDBG and HCD in the past, which is administers that program, housing and community development, and they said, yeah, it's probably not the best way to write those loans, but there are a lot of them out there that were like that, no payments and, you know, a balloon payment at the end with no real possible way to repay the money. So, I'm kind of dancing around because we need to kind of dance around on this deal, but the money was given to us by CDBG. It was loaned out. In a perfect world, we get some of that back. And I'll give you a good thing is we've got about $1.1 million in payments back for some of these CDBG programs. And we're able to take that money and put it towards a city project like a public safety building. So this 20 grand would also go in that pot. So.
Well, it's going in right.
It would be in our best interest to want to.
Well, yeah, compared to them walking and having fees.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting, my proposition, that you took out a loan and you're never gonna have to pay a payment. And then someday you just said, okay, I'll pay, less than a third of that and I'll walk away.
You know what's funny is there were some, I don't know what the rhyme or reason was to it. I think there were two different programs. There's a home program and a CDBG program. And on the home program, most of those loans, they had small payments, like $150 a month or something. And there are people that have been paying those payments since 1999 or 2000, and they walk in their $150 every month. But a lot of these CDBG ones specifically were $0.
People live for 27 years.
Yeah.
So these are I'm confused, Nick. These are the mobile homes at Spanish Trail?
Not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them, and so the people were given this loan and they moved into a trailer there and have never made a payment?
The first time, well, there's a couple different ones, but the first time home loan buyer program and the funds were used to purchase new mobile homes, so then were placed in various lots.
And how do people qualify to get those?
It's an low income deal. Again, I've had multiple occurrences over the 15 years that I've been here where people are like, we were told that we were not going to, and there were caveats. They had to pay the property taxes. They had to, if there was a loan payment, it always had to be current, which in these cases they weren't. They had to be the residents in that trailer. You know, they couldn't sublet it or give it to their kids, or they can't. And so yes, for 25 plus years, some of these folks have lived in these trailers. And they had to pay the space rental at the mobile home park, you know. So it's not like they were not doing anything, you know. They still had a payment. And I have it's no fault of theirs. That was the way all of these loans were structured by the city. And the gal that administered the stuff for the city at the time, I tried to track her down about 12 years ago, and was unsuccessful. Just to like talk to her and say, what's the thought process here? And because nobody, you know, this precedes Sandra. She's the longest term person at the city.
Roughly how many of these loans were out there?
You know, I want to say the whole portfolio of home and CDBG was about 30 loans. And so we've gotten a handful off the books. One trailer was condemned at one point. We were offered 5 or 10 grand or we offered 5 and took 10 from somebody at one point. These guys tried to offer 5 at one point. They walked away and came back and got more serious. Said we'll give you 20.
So for like the folks who came in and said handed the keys and said we're out there, what has happened with that trailer since?
We sold the trailer. In the two cases, one of them we sold to the two Spanish trails. They bought it. And another case, another party came that Spanish Trails helped us essentially sell it to somebody else. But at one point, Spanish Trails was like, okay, well, somebody's got to pay the space rent, And so that was getting to the point where we were gonna have to pay the damn space rent on these things. So yeah, these things are not.
Are they still?
We're not doing.
This was from 1989.
Oh, CDBG.
Yeah. Yes. So the way CDBG works for everything, for all of their stuff, is they give you a pot of money for a purpose, for a first time loan buyer or first time home buyer thing. There's also housing rehabilitation stuff. There's multiple programs within CDBG, but the thought process is that you take that money and loan it out. Those people pay you back, and then you take it and loan it out again. Not working well for us. But we have that's called program. When they pay you back, that's called program income, and we do have over $1 million in program income from various programs. There were about 5 years where we did home and CDBG loan things, and we've gotten some of that money back in program income. So those things are what we're trying to capture those funds now to put into the public safety building from those payments over the last 25 years. So this would be another thing in that program income pot that we could then apply to that program.
How much do they buy the property?
So they're renting a space in the trailer park, and we bought the trailer for $63,000. 64,000.
Not this one. You said that there were two previously?
The keys.
Oh, one of them like $10,000, and I think the other one $7,000 or something.
This trailer's not
10
worth
years ago.
$20,000. The trailer that we're getting off.
None of them are
$20,000
worth.
is not worth $20,000.
Yeah, they're not.
How
Yeah.
many more are there potentially in the same situation?
Well, like I said, there were probably 30. We'd have to come back and tell you the whole portfolio was maybe 30 years ago. I haven't looked at it in years.
This is the first time I've run into something like this.
It's kind of Sandra.
This happened about 5 or 6 years ago.
It did. It's
Money is granted to the city, and then the city would turn around and administer the program.
right.
Sometimes the programs do already come with a packet of loan documents, where you have to, even beyond or outside of, city. The city does give input on some of those packets already, pre-packaged, and the city just administers what's for the first time we legally qualify for the program and enroll in the program, and then subsequently administer the program. The city, yeah.
There's no opportunity to vet it further than just to see what the documents are there.
I'm sorry?
There's no other opportunity for the city to vet these people, it's just how these documents are, do they qualify?
No.
You do, but sometimes the packet of the loan documents is already pre-established by the program, by the tech program.
This is all done locally.
Yeah.
The city of Holtville made this loan. So we vetted the people, we did all the stuff, but those loan documents, Steve and I have been over them years. I've been playing this game for years, and the loan documents, sometimes they're 2 pages, it's so simplistic, some of them, and they really don't.
But the money came from the program.
The money came from the program. It
The city's
wasn't
not really out anything.
correct.
You're taking the program income.
The only thing I've always said, it makes me fume a little bit. Like, should have had them have some skin in the game. Should have had $100 payment a month or something. But this was all done 10 years before I got here, and I've been here a long time.
And we don't have anybody else that might be coming up in the same situation.
Boy, it could quite possibly happen. Yeah, we could certainly. Chandler can get together Chandler can get together a report of what's left, what's left on that inventory. Because we have an old inventory sheet of them, and we had a meeting here in this room, let's say in about 2013, maybe, with a bunch of those homeowners, and 4 of them came up to me and go, "We were told we get this thing for free when we're done." And I'm like, "Well, it's not in the loan document you signed." I can tell you it's not in the loan document.
Gilbert kind of handles these things, and he says consistently he gets that same response, like, often.
You have the what payments, they're not making.
There are a few in the home loan that are making payments.
Yes.
So he handles those. We get
Well,
about
that's
three, we get
should
about
be angry.
three
Those
a
are
month
ones.
under the amount of $1,000.
And I'll tell you, we had a housing rehab program, and that one was full repayment, and that stuff all came back, and that's all done. Like they're all paid off. But like we had early in my tenure as finance manager, we had a gal who owned a house in the Smith subdivision over there. And her loan said that she was supposed to pay a balloon payment at the end of her term, which was 7 or 10 years or whatever. Incredibly nice lady, came to me about crying because she's like, she could not get a loan at the time. She tried and it just wasn't working. So the city carrier, and I had this discussion with this group of people, the city carried her for another 5 years and she paid it. She paid every dime of it. So some of the programs have worked really well, and all that PI money that we do have, most of that came out of the housing rehab program. There were several loans where we gave people money to fix up a broken down house, or they had a roof that leaked or something, and that program was fairly successful. But this particular thing, the mobile home thing is problematic because you all know this. You buy a house and it appreciates in value. You buy a mobile home and it depreciates in value. And we ran into this multiple times where the city had some interest in a mobile home, and it ain't worth what it costs to get it off the lot, at that point when it's 15, 20, 30 years old. So.
I'm gonna just cut to the chase, because, we can get $20,000 back.
Yeah.
So before you make the motion, I'm gonna say up front that I'm uncomfortable agreeing to this. You're setting a precedent, especially if you end up having other ones that you need to look at. And so with that taken into consideration, I would ask that you go and get that list, bring that list to us, so we can make an educated decision on what our future looks like. Because if we vote on this and we agree on it, we're setting a precedent. Any of those other ones coming up and doing the same thing.
But we can't go make them pay.
We've taken $5,000 for one of these trailers in the past. So, I agree with you. It's not a good thing.
It's a bad case, but I am gonna move for approval of resolution 2610. Recoup what losses we can, or recoup what money we can, because it may be nothing without doing this.
Yeah.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Roll call vote.
Mike Goodsell,
Yes.
John Munger,
No.
Murray Anderson,
No.
Vanessa Ramirez,
No.
and Mike Pacheco.
Yes.
Motion fails.
Okay, so question procedurally, do you want me to bring back the list? Because we're not doing anything. I mean,
This was stands and falls on its own merit. Having a list of others.
I agree, but this is not good for the city at this point. It's really bad for the city. What you just did is not good.
Otherwise, we're not gonna get this money. Like,
But we tried to table it, but you guys forced it off, the vote on it. Mr. Munger tried to table it till we got the list.
Okay,
We didn't have
the list is
that's
not-
my question
The list will do
then.
nothing
Well-
with this specific trailer. The list has nothing to do with this trailer.
I'll say what I said again, we tried to table this until we could get the inventory list to see what would be coming in the future. We could have gone back and voted for this, but you guys forced this vote on us tonight.
Okay, so at
And I
this,
don't want to speak for Mr. Munger, but I think we're in the same camp here, right, John?
okay, we can still get the list, but what's your direction to these people? Tell them, no, you can't buy your trailer? Or you need to,
I think once we have more information on it, we understand.
so I can bring it back at this point?
Once we have more information
Okay.
on it, and we understand it, we can also make a counter and say, no, not 20, but we'll do whatever percentage.
They started at 5. We countered.
And we
Okay,
can still ask for 100%.
Okay. Okay.
But the point is that we made an educated decision instead of a forced decision.
okay.
So what happens if, they just walk away and eat
Then then we get no money,
And then we get nothing.
so.
Okay, we'll move on. Item 3, discussion related action to adopt resolution 26-11, authorizing the purchase of a commercial riding mower for use in the city parks. Mr. Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the report demonstrates, we've had this riding mower for, what is it, 19 years or something? It's getting to the point where it's breaking down all the time. It did break down, it broke down a few weeks back, and that basically very little of very little of our parks could get mowed at that point. They did fix it. Excuse me. So it's running again, but this is about the third time in about 18 months that it's been down for a significant amount of time. Also including the report, I did mention that in 2028, the CARB, California Air Resource Board rules are going to change again, and it's going to be much harder. They're going to probably force us into buying electric things at that point. And for what we do, that's going to be very difficult. So I think it's timely right now to try to go out and purchase this piece of equipment. I would say Chavez has been bugging me about it for 6 months, and so when the last time it happened, I got a lot of complaints about Mac Park, and that was part of the math was that we couldn't get to Mac Park.
For all those, the Little League parks.
Yep, they use it for everything. They just truck it around all over town. Yep. So in any case, they looked at, because they're used to fixing the John Deere, they wanted to get another John Deere, so they went and got quotes on those, so they get a similar one. I don't think there'll be a carryover on parts because they'll be 15 years apart in model year, but they definitely kind of used to what they have, and so Chavez said, hey, this one lasted this long, so for the amount we use it, we run that thing every single day because basically he's on a schedule of this part gets mowed on Thursday, Mac Park gets mowed on Monday. I don't know what all the days are, but Samaha gets it and they're somewhere and they're out here other days, so it's running every day. And so I'll have a talk with Chavez about what he wants to do about putting that other one in mothballs so it's there if this one breaks, the new one breaks down or whatever. That's another discussion. But if we run this one till the wheels come off, then we won't have a backup. But it maybe you us to use it one day a week or something like that, and use this one as kind of the workhorse. So.
Sounds good. Thank you. Council?
Yeah, sure, I'll start. I'm a little uncomfortable with this just because I'd like to see some more information. Like, I'd like to see the maintenance records, how much have we spent on that mower in the last 4 or 5 years? Show me that it's gone up from 2021 to 2022. How much have we spent? $1,200 a year, $1,000 a year?
It's the frequency and the amount of time that's down. That's the problem at this point. I can certainly provide.
Yeah, show me some maintenance records on what's going on with it and how much we're spending on maintenance a year. You're not providing me with any information to approve $27,000.
That's at 19.
Yeah.
And my next question would be, I just did a rudimentary search, commercial grade John Deere mowers, and if you were to get a slightly used one, like 2021, 2022, they were like $10,000, $11,000. So like the fire truck, we didn't go get a brand new ladder truck. We got one that was, and I know that was an opportune moment to go get that, but maybe searching the same similar situation, one that's a couple years older, I know the key is how many hours are on the mower, not really how old the mower is. But maybe a little more research into what one of those would cost or something. So those are my concerns with this.
Do you want to table this as well? The motion to table.
Those are my concerns. I don't know if any other council members have concerns or not.
Anybody else?
I was gonna ask for range, sorry. I was gonna ask for some kind of expenditure report.
So I'll just say that the devil's advocate, 19 years, use of motor not that many parts, I'm not sure if they're on it. I don't have to see that, to grasp that. That's the key, use the record. I don't know, the price of one is 2 or 3 years old, it doesn't sound like much different than $22,000.
Well, I just did that so that they have a little wiggle room there, but.
Well, council, I need a motion either to table it or to approve it.
If it helps, I'll also hold the budget for like that specific line item and see where we're at in spending as well.
Well, I will say that I pulled up the budget, and it's not budgeted to purchase a new mower for this year, so.
I'll move to table it until we can get some maintenance costs, some annual maintenance costs on the current mower and maybe some quotes on a mower that's a year or two old and, you know, a good number of hours on it. I didn't like to see quotes on the new one, you know.
I have quotes on the new
Yeah,
one.
maybe just include those in the packet so we can see what we're getting.
Okay.
So we have a motion to table it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You have a second?
Also seek, when you work for the, quote for the used one, where they potential warranty review. Warranty purchase.
Well, if it lasts for 19 years, I don't think we're finding anything that's gonna do that, but.
Well, if we're getting a used one, we want to be sure it's not having been used for X amount of hours.
Roll call,
Mike Goodsell, John Munger,
Yes.
Murray Anderson,
This is the vote to table. Right?
to table. Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Pacheco.
Okay, so we've already discussed the information item. So we'll go to staff reports. Any questions for Mr. Wells?
Is there any action on the SCAG conference?
No.
Are any of us attending?
Yeah, Mr. Pacheco is attending.
Is that open to anybody else?
I think everyone got the email or whatever on it, right?
Okay.
Where you going?
And Pacheco was identified as a delegate in January, so.
I may have missed it.
Okay.
I know
What-
it's early May, right?
Yes.
Maybe first week of May? Or is it-
And he
Yeah,
might
I can
have-
forward you the
I thought
email.
7th.
You guys check your city emails?
Yeah, I probably went to your city.
Yeah, I'll double check. I did have a question about the lights grant that I made that Mike sent over. Are we going to pursue that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was discussing it this morning, so.
And we're pursuing that for Mountain Park, or are we still not sure about that?
Well, I had Chavez go out and figure out which lights or how many lights are out at the different parks. There's more lights that are out in Samaha, but, I think we'll see. We did, but remember what we did at Samaha was every light has like 8 lights in it, or every pole. And so we got enough to do 2 in each pole or whatever. And so the thought was that later we'd come back and do 2 more in each pole.
But I think Max, the building,
Yeah.
is the worst.
I think Mac is in worse shape. So I'm gonna go out and look at it, but we need to freshen up our quotes on, I told Dr. Chavez today about freshen up our quotes on the units that go in, that replace and see how many.
So we're looking to replace lights, not to put lights up in the newer.
But that wouldn't,
Light cover.
wouldn't put a big drop in the bucket what it's gonna cost.
Okay.
Mhm.
It is available annually, but it's $35,000. So it's not a,
Yeah.
it's not a, it's a good amount of money that'll help out, phase in, either replacement or, but.
Well, we just got this grant about, 2 years ago. We didn't get it last year, we got it the year before. So we're familiar with it and we know kind of what we're going. So we just like to say, we just need to freshen up our quotes on the stuff that we did last time and figure it out.
Okay,
How's that new lighting at, the basketball court? Site Logic put up new lighting?
Yeah, ask the neighbor there.
Yeah. Looks good. Lights up your front yard?
Are you pooping over there yet?
Going
Or
across.
No.
are you pooping over there?
I'm not moving, but I can touch agree with my kiddos over there. My neighbor. It's it.
all right, any items for future meetings?
Wait, I didn't get to talk about my.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Really quick. I say we take the trailer loan and buy a lawnmower. How about that? Okay, so I'm actually really.
Can't do it.
Just want to highlight a few things in quarter 3 update for the enterprise funds. We're currently at a net loss under 50 grand for both the sewer and water. Not super detrimental, but I will say a big chunk of that for the sewer enterprise was the $210,000 in revenue loss from the sewer plant being closed and truck disposal and all those things. That's not recoverable. I will also say we are missing some collected revenues from billing for the quarter 3. We haven't captured all of it, so this is a very conservative outlook. So this is pretty much how
Just an estimate on your part.
the worst maybe it could be projected wise, because we still are waiting on some revenue, like I said, from the Q3. But other than that, it seems fairly navigable. This is probably the worst I've seen it since I've been here, but it's so manageable. And again, very, very most conservative approach. So, if you have any questions though about anything specific, just let me know. And then next meeting we'll go over the general fund Q3, and then I'll get together a list of those trailer inventory, and then there's something else that. And then the ERP information as well. So that's all.
Thanks, Chandler. How about police chief? Any other additional questions for Mr. Martinez? Hearing none. Item for future meetings.
So there will be a presentation at the next meeting from the American Legion. So we have that coming up. You and Mr. Pacheco so far, I do have 4 tickets left.
This Friday. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
So,
We're starting at 5 for the next one. Or next.
yeah. Next one's
Do we
at
need to
5.
start